So I'm not the biggest of gamers. I'm actually what you would regard as a tier like 5 casual gamer. I don't even casually game that much. But I think that the Nintendo Switch 2 might just slowly get me back into casual gaming. Maybe on the weekends or something. But nevertheless, let's talk about it. The Nintendo Switch changed everything when it was launched back in 2017. But now in 2025, it's finally time for it to evolve. This is the Nintendo Switch 2, and it's more than just a sequel. It's smarter, sharper, and surprisingly perfect for families, casual gamers, and everything in between. So, Switch was a term coined by Nintendo, and it's a combination of two different devices. The 3DS, which is a handheld console, and the Wii U, which was a TV console. And Nintendo officially dropped the Switch 2 in July of 2025. While it might look similar, there are some major under-the-hood changes. And this is Nintendo's most expensive console with some controversial updates that actually make sense. It still blends handheld gaming and TV gaming perfectly. But now, it does so with a stunning display, improved Joy-Cons, and DLSS enhanced visuals while docked. So this is for those who want a console that works when you're on the couch, in the car, or even at the dinner table with the family. So normally, it either focuses on one or the other, handheld gaming or TV gaming, but Nintendo has chosen both, and we see these improvements across both spheres with the Nintendo Switch 2. So let's talk about the design. So in terms of the size of the device, it is slightly larger now, even with the screen becoming larger. And in terms of its thickness, it's actually just as thick as the Switch 1. So there's better bezels, a full kickstand at the back, and the Joy-Cons have received a drastic improvement with it now being magnetically mounted. The Switch 2 actually has a Type-C at the top of the device, so that when you're in dock mode and you want to attach additional accessories, you can do so without compromising the way that you use the device, which I think is very, very cool and something that many people might have looked over when considering the Switch 2. And with the Joy-Cons have much bigger buttons, and like how I mentioned, the method of connecting has been improved, where you just press a button and it releases. With the buttons being bigger, the joystick is slightly better as well as improvements to the SL and SR button, with it being much bigger when you are in vertical gaming as such. And reconnecting this, simple as clicking it back in. So let's talk about some actual specs. The screen is a 7.9-inch wide color gamut LCD screen with a resolution of 1920 by 1080. It also has HDR10 support with a variable refresh rate of up to 120 Hz. This is compared to the 720p display on the original Switch 1. Now, with these revamped Joy-Cons, now you get improved analog sticks, less drift finally, and under the hood, this features a custom NVIDIA Tegra chipset with 12 gigs of DDR5 RAM in the device. It also features new user interfaces and profiles for faster navigation, smoother transitions, and personalized experiences for different users. With the Kickstand 2.0, you have a wider, more durable stand, and it's actually usable on a table now. I think another big improvement is the improved speakers. So stereo audio sounds clearer even in a handheld mode. And the best thing is that this has backward compatibility. So you can keep your Switch 1 games, most of which work right out of the box. Another big feature is DLSS upscaling. So Nintendo's worked very closely with Nvidia again, and this time to get you 4K output when the device is docked. So you don't have to worry about it being a 1080p output. You get full upscaled 4K for when you are TV gaming. Now, what's really different between the Switch 2 and the Switch 1? Let's break it down. So firstly is the display. The Switch 1 has a 6.2 inch LCD display, whereas this has a 7.8 inch at 1080p. And you can dock it and get 4K with DLSS. And there's a whole host of other smaller changes that for casual gamers, these might seem cosmetic. But for people that actually love Nintendo, these are game changing. And Nintendo has actually listened to what are the things that people wanted to do. Games even load quicker, look sharper, and the console feels more defined, especially in its portable mode. So Nintendo has always been the most family-friendly console maker in the market, and the Switch 2 continues with that tradition. So here you have the ability of creating separate profiles for each of your family members. You have the ability of setting up parental controls with the free app, and you can explore games for every age group, from Animal Crossings to The Legend of Zelda to Switch Fit for active play. And this still supports local multiplayer with a single Joy-Con per player. And if you're a parent looking for something the entire family can enjoy without worrying about violent content, complicated setups, and even your kids getting games off the net which you have no control over, then this is the device you have to consider. So we've spoken a lot about the Switch. Let's go a couple of steps back and let's talk about the 3 ways that it can be used. So the 3 ways is handheld mode, so perfect for traveling, gaming, there you go. Then you have desktop mode. In desktop mode, you kick the kickstand out, you place the screen down, and you remove the Joy-Cons, and then you can play your games. And the last is docked mode, where you would take it and place it in the supplied dock, and you would hook it up to your TV, and you can play your games with the Joy-Cons removed. Now, on the note of the Joy-Cons can also be used in a few different ways as well. They can be used in a free-handed play like this. They can be used on the controller as well, like this. And you also have a Pro controller that you can purchase that you can use with the device. On the note of the Joy-Cons, and a cool addition is the fact that it has a little reader underneath the Joy-Con. So you can use it in a bit of a mouse mode where you scroll around and you can click. At the moment, there isn't too much of app integration or game development that features this. But I think that's something for us to really, really look forward to, because there's a lot of app development that's gonna basically take gaming to the next level with this. And I think this is just like the Wii back in the day and its advancements with the way that you play gaming. In terms of performance, the Switch 2 absolutely delivers with smooth frame rates, even in demanding games. You have your DLSS upscaling, which makes docked gameplay shine on 4K TVs. Your load times are much faster, menus are slicker, and the battery life holds up better than expected with all these new improvements. Games like Mario Kart 9, Splatoon 4, and Zelda feel polished, snappy, and third-party ports are smoother too. Yeah, we can shine it up as much as we want, but I think there are some cons with this device. And one of the first ones I'm going to talk about is the fact that I feel like this device is slightly large as well. It's not something that can fit in your pocket, because I know when I had one of the other handheld devices, it was something that you could squeeze into your pocket, or you could put it in your jacket pocket or something like that. This is much wider this way in terms of height. So it is actually larger, but I mean, if you're using it in the docked mode and the desktop mode, then yeah, it's not a lot of time that you're going to be putting this in your pocket. But even, I mean, placing it in your bag, it's going to take up more space. So it has to be mentioned. The second one is the fact that battery life can at times be bad, where you're losing up to 1% every 2 minutes. And the third is not exactly a con, but it's something that has to be mentioned. The price is actually up nearly 50%, right? But if you account for inflation and all of these things, it's more or less on par. But the issue is that things surrounding the Switch have also gotten more expensive. That includes accessories, and even games are slowly climbing up in price, for where Nintendo is actually being consistent in their game pricing. Now, since we're talking about price, let's talk about the price of the Switch 2. So if you purchase the Switch 2 just as that, you can pick it up for 12,499 Rand. There is available a Mario Kart World bundle, which retails for 13,499 Rand with the Switch 2. And the Switch 2 can also be taken on contract for as little as 509 Rand per month through Vodacom. So in wrapping up, I think the Switch 2 is a mechanism to play games, right? So who should actually be buying the Switch 2? If you're brand new to Nintendo, this is absolutely the one to get. For casual gamers, it's more refined, future ready, and if you're a parent, it's still the safest bet in gaming. However, it should also be noted that if you are a Call of Duty player, you're not going to be buying the Switch, right? Because this is very centered around Nintendo and games that Nintendo users love, like Mario. But with that also being said, Switch 1 users who have avoided games because they were unhappy with the Switch 1's graphics or performance, this is definitely leaps and bounds ahead. So if you are putting those games up, maybe you should be picking up the Switch 2 and then you just pick up with your games. If you're upgrading out from a worn-out Switch 1, the screen, the performance, the smoother Joy-Cons makes it worth the wait and the setup. If you like Mario Kart, then there should be no reason why. And at the end of it, there's a reason that this is the best-selling game console, actually beating out the PS4, selling 3.5 million units globally in the first 4 days of sale. So yeah, that has been the techsceneza review of the Nintendo Switch 2. If you enjoyed this video, you can let me know by giving a like rating if you did. If you aren't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss on any of our future content. A huge shout out to Nintendo South Africa for sending out this device for me to review and for giving me the chance to actually get a feel, because I ironically about 2 months ago purchased a Wii for myself as a retro console to enjoy. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. My name is Prashant and I will catch you in the next video.